Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. Through this video, we will start our discussion on an entirely new playlist which is going to be devoted to the planetary archetypes. So I do not know whether this video and the concepts explained in this video are going to be applicable in your life or not, but I am very much sure that after listening to this video, importantly and specifically, if your ascendant is controlled by the planet Mars and Venus, on which we are going to have our discussion today, you're going to get a lot of clarity. So friends, like the way I always say this thing, that it is very important to understand that which all planets are majorly impacting or influencing your life. So like for example, you could be among those that your life gets governed, your decision making gets impacted by the blend of the planetary effect. But there are those specific cases where a planet holds a very important decision making in the life of the native. Because friends, it's very simple to understand. See, planets stays in one zodiac sign, specifically the slow moving planets, for long time. Like for example, the planet Mars stay in one zodiac sign for around 45 days, Jupiter stays close to 10 months, Saturn stays for 2.5 years. So that doesn't mean that all the Saturnian qualities of resilience and patience are going to be same in the case of all those people who are born in that 2.5 years period of time. So what I'm trying to say over here is that it all comes down to basis your ascendant, which house rulership that planet is holding in your life. So I mean to say, for example, in order to determine any individual's personality, the spirit is seen and judged from the placement and the condition of the sun. Your subconsciousness, your thinking pattern is being judged and governed by the condition of the moon. And when we talk about your individuality, your personality, your presence in this world, for that we have to give attention to ascendant. Now coming back to the topic friends, when I say the planetary archetype, it all comes down to that if you will find, like for example, in the case of sun and moon, they only hold a single sign. So if you are a Leo ascendant person and sun is sitting right over there in your ascendant, so you could be defined as a pure solar and a sun archetype. For example, you are a Cancer ascendant and moon is sitting right over there in your first house. So you could be defined, your personality could be defined as a proper moon archetype. And when we talk about other planets, like for example, you talk about Mars. So if you are a Aries ascendant, either Mars is sitting in your first house, or for a Aries ascendant, Mars is sitting in the 8th house, in the Scorpio sign. So you can fairly conclude this thing that your life force is completely governed by, in its pure essence, by the same planet, which is planet Mars. When we talk about the planet like Jupiter, so you are a Sagittarius ascendant and Jupiter is either sitting in your first house or Jupiter is sitting in your 4th house. In the Pisces sign. So we can conclude that this person is a pure Jupiter archetype. So friends, in this playlist we are going to have our discussion on understanding the essence of your life if you are falling in the category of a specific planetary archetype. Now, why did I choose and started this discussion and this playlist from Mars and Venus? Because obviously I by myself I am a planetary, like I come in the category of the Mars archetype. So friends, like obviously the energy opposite to me is of planet Venus. And not only that, not only my Mars is strong, but my Venus is also a very strong planet. So a majority of the times, all those people who are connected with me, which I am very grateful to, on my this social media community, I keep on even reading in the comment section, like I am a Libra moon sign, I am a Libra ascendant, I am a Taurus moon sign or Taurus ascendant, or I am a Aries ascendant, or I am a Scorpio moon sign. So because of which I have a strong grip and strong understanding of these two planets archetypes. So that is the only reason I'm starting this discussion with these two planetary archetypes. And not only that friends, if I even have to share the statistics of the consultations which I have done, for example, in the past 2 months. So if I have to pick up a random number, so if I have consulted 100 people, so trust me, 85 are governed by the Venus driven like energy. So because of which I have a fair understanding, and not only that, my lifestyle, the people I feel comfortable and I hang out with, so they are definitely governed by either Mars or Venus. Like for example, I have a representation as well. I keep on taking acting classes, I keep on going for auditions as well, so I'm surrounded by these energies. So because of which I thought that, and for long I've been thinking about working on this playlist. I have already made a playlist from the palmistry perspective, that how can you understand and recognize or identify your type. So now even from the perspective of astrology, we will try to have our discussion on this playlist. And trust me, if you want to add more points, please feel free to share your own views and your own inputs. And like the way friends, the way I have said this thing, that your personality, your archetype could be judged on the basis of the alignments which I just shared with you. And if you actually want to understand the true essence of that planet in your life, so trust me, if you will find the same planet in a dignified state in the D9 chart or in the Navamsa chart, so you can fairly conclude that yes, I am completely governed and driven by this planet. So if you are a planetary archetype, so trust me, you do not even have to go for, while trying to find out the Ishta Devta or your favorite god, you do not even have to look at the trine houses like the 5th house or the 9th house. If you are being purely governed by one specific planet or a planetary archetype, the god which is connected with that planet, the Bij mantra and utmost dedication, sincere devotion to that planet can actually take you to the heights in the life. So okay friends, now beginning our discussion first with the planet Mars. So friends, you have to understand this thing, that when we talk about the energies of Mars, it is all about impulse, it is all about energy, but energy which needs to be restricted, which needs to be shown proper direction. When we talk about the Martian driven people, they could be the most generous people. The only thing which these guys need to learn is how to handle the surge of the energy. Definitely they have their good qualities of a good logical mind, problem solving skills, very helpful nature, capacity to take initiative. But when we talk about from the perspective of if this planet becomes your archetype, so you need to understand the pulse and the essence of this planet. Like the way friends, I always say this thing, if you actually want to progress in your life, and if you are falling in the category of the Mars archetype, you need to develop two more energies. One is of the planet Saturn. Unless and until there is no discipline, trust me, your energies can go haywire, you will not reach anywhere. And the second thing is that Sun also needs to be developed, because in the planetary council, it's like if Mars is a commander, so the commander always pay heed and take instructions from the king. So because of which your morals needs to be developed. Friends, whenever we talk about the character and the morals, we many a times overlook the importance of Mars, but Mars is very important planet, because Mars rules your passion, Mars rules your drive, Mars rules your sex drive, and it is the only planet which, if you will find impulsively agitated and afflicted in the chart, so trust me, the person can go to any extent to fulfill his desires. So it all comes down to developing the discipline. Friends, like when we talk about from the perspective of the spirituality, so being spiritual means being aware of your own energies, being aware of your energy centers. I am not an advocate of pushing one specific religion, one specific god, because if you are a spiritual person, so that means whether you belong to one particular religion, you have your faith in one chosen god, or whatever your gender, your age is, you are attuned and connected to your soul. But specifically when we talk about Mars, so listening and understanding the character of Lord Hanuman can give you very depth, very clarity. And majority of the times what happen is that, friends, see, if you are just going to rely on the redundant work or rhetorical work, you might not be able to understand the essence of that. But trust me, there are some very good authors, like for example some of the books which are in my collection, one of the book which is being written by Krishna Das, and this book written by Mataji Devi Vanamali on Lord Hanuman. So if you are going to read this book, you will understand the essence which Lord Hanuman represents. Trust me, just the mere remembrance of Lord Hanuman, seeing the picture of Hanuman, is going to be a reminder of being connected and rooted on your faith and your path in this lifetime. So with Mars, it becomes very important that you should have, first of all, discipline, and the second of all, you should have concrete goals in your life. So now friends, we will start our discussion. In this discussion, I am not including the planetary exaltation placement. So you are a Mars archetype, I mean to say, I'm so sorry for my pronunciation. If you are a Aries ascendant or a Scorpio ascendant, either Mars is sitting in your first house or it is sitting in the other sign ruled by the same planet. But for a Aries ascendant native, if Mars is in the 10th house exalted, then also exaltation could be seen and could be visualized as a placement where you are in a 5-star hotel, but still that is not your own house. You will be described as a pure planetary archetype if that planet is sitting in its own house and it has the rulership of the ascendant as well. So friends, if you want to understand it from the perspective of the Aries ascendant native. So friends, for the Aries ascendant native, the good part about you or the talents which you are born with is your capacity to take initiative, your capacity to be fearless. But for anyone who is a Mars like Aries ascendant, Mars is either sitting in the first house. We will take up that case first. So that means the energy and the surge of the power is right over there in your head. So you need to be completely disciplined in the life, and you should have proper goals which are always driving you, always restraining you, always giving you the right direction. And friends, if you are a Aries ascendant native and your ascendant lord Mars is sitting in the 8th house in the Scorpio sign, so you have to understand this thing that when we talk about 8th house is the house of transformation. So you by yourself hold this capacity to completely transform your life. Who says that transformation is always going to be bad? Transformation could be for your betterment, for your own good as well. So you have this capacity on a conscious level to die and be alive again. The second thing is that friends, for all those people who are Aries ascendant native and your ascendant lord is sitting in the 8th house, so that means fearless is your defining area of life. Trust me, once we will continue our discussion, I'm not going to use the same lines or same mantra for everyone, but I'm using it for you because you have to understand, if you have not been awakened or you have not realized this thing, that the kind of surge of energy which you possess within you, no matter 8th house in itself represents 8th house represents the concerns of life and death, and no matter how strong you are, how strong-willed you are, the concerns of the life and death could scare anyone. But just because your ascendant lord is sitting in the 8th house, so that means you are born to do something big in the life. You have this capacity to completely transform your life, and there is nothing which could put you down. The only thing which you need to inculcate is that to completely discipline yourself, and second thing, you should have proper goals to keep on guiding you in the life. Friends, trust me, with this kind of alignment, the instincts are so strong that if this person is going to even enter a room, his energy could be felt. The way the person is going to speak, the same way his silence can also create a difference. So that is the kind of energy and intensity which this native is going to be possessing. The second thing is that if you are going to give your life a direction of the spiritual path, so trust me, your healing energy and healing potential is going to be very strong. Now coming to another ascendant. So let's say for example, you are a Scorpio ascendant and your Mars is sitting in the first house. So friends, one like mantra which I want to give to you is that you need to be completely losing out your energy. Like for example, when we talk about a Scorpio sign, Scorpio is a fixed sign and Scorpio is a water sign, so it has got lot of capacity and potential to concentrate the energy and hold it for long time. And friends, like when we talk about the path of devotion, path of art, path of creativity, so it all comes down to the much you are hollow from inside. You do not have any vices of resentment, negativity, jealousy, or wishing ill or harm for anyone. So you can become a medium or conduit of divine grace. But in order to do that, you need to be hollow from inside. I can fully understand this thing, that if you are a Scorpio ascendant and Mars is sitting in your first house, it might becomes very difficult for you to let go. But that is where you need to develop yourself, discipline, and you have to inculcate those qualities of letting go. And the second thing is that if you are a Scorpio ascendant and your ascendant lord is sitting in this sixth house, so trust me friends, one thing which I want to tell you is that whatsoever you want to gain in the life, you have to fight for it. There couldn't be a second way, or there could not be an alternative way of avoiding your energies to get into the conflicts, because it's the Martian people only who thrive, who flourish on conflicts. But the conflicts could be done in a graceful way. So that is where your learning comes in picture. Like the way the lesson which I gave, or the mantra which I gave to a Scorpio ascendant with Mars in the first house, is that you have to learn these traits and qualities of letting go. So same way for a Scorpio ascendant, your ascendant lord Mars being in the sixth house, which could actually make you a very good cop, this could make you a very good lawyer, this could make you a very good arbitrator. But at the same time, in general well-being and the running around of the life, the only thing which you have to learn is, first of all, to discipline yourself. You are definitely a fearless person, but along with that, at the same time, all the sixth house related matters, you have to offer your unconditional help and service to the needy people. So trust me, fights are not always wrong or bad if they are done for just and good and honor and noble reasons. So that is where you need to inculcate the understanding. So discipline and picking up the right fights is something which is important for you. And friends, sixth house has a lot to do with discipline. Sixth house has a lot to do with the hard work and competition. So trust me, you will do better. You will fare better in life the more you will be put forth in a competitive situation. So never show your back to any sort of competitive situation. Now coming to the most loving planet and the most loving ascendants, which are being controlled by the planet Venus. So friends, if you want to understand the essence of Venus, so it all comes down to love. So trust me, if you will even read the work of all the holy saints and all the holy people who have walked the earth and they have shown and guided the path to humanity, so they were able to do all of those miracles. They were able to shine that divine light only through the weapon and the power of love. So beyond doubt, if you are a Venusian archetype, the one thing which you need to learn is how to shower unconditional love to the world. Because the conflicting situation is that even if you are a Taurus ascendant or you are a Libra ascendant, opposite to you, you are going to find the Martian energy. You will be put forth in a situation where you have to tame, you have to handle all the intensity of energy, quarrelsome and impulse. But that can be controlled with love. So friends, that is the one thing which I want to tell to all the Venusian ascendant. So friends, now beginning with the Taurus ascendant. So if you are a Taurus ascendant and your ascendant lord Venus is sitting right over there in your first house, so that in itself means that you exude that power, that energy of love, of grace, of charm. Now friends, when people look at you, obviously planet in itself represents energy, but the theme is being represented by the sign in which they are placed in. So being Taurus ascendant not only means about luxury, about financial acumen, financial savviness, but when people look at you, the first impression which they get is about the beauty and the grace of your values, of your ethics, of your virtues, how much concentrated and deeply rooted you are in your capacity to nurture and nourish people. No matter how much the kind of troubled people the opposite energy of Scorpio is throwing at you, but you have this capacity to heal and fix and give antidote of love to all of those kind of troubling situation. So that is the one thing which you need to inculcate. Friends, when we talk about the Taurus ascendant, like the way I have already explained this thing, that it's not only about in the situation of the Mars archetype where you need to develop your Saturn in the form of discipline, but same is the case which gets applied for all the Venusian archetype as well, because Saturn becomes a Yoga Karaka for all the Venusian people. Trust me, it's not only in the woman's chart, even in the man's chart. If you will find a strong Venus, you will find them being in love with the pink color, very feminine, eternally like a devotee or a lover of beautiful things, fine things. So it all comes down to how you have inculcated and you have understood the essence of your archetype. So if you are a Taurus ascendant, Venus is sitting right over there in your first house. The discipline and the deep rootedness of the firmness of your values, of your virtues, flavored with love. You do not have to push anything with the force. That could be the domain of Mars. You do not have to force anything with propaganda or with anything to do with the religious teachings. That might be the domain of Jupiter. But in your case, it has to be the nourishment of the love. Now friends, for example, if you are a Taurus ascendant and your ascendant lord, which is Venus, it has gone to the 6th house. So friends, I always say this thing, that why, if you will try to understand that in the original Kalpurush Kundli, why Venus goes through debilitation in the Virgo sign, because Virgo is about being critical. And when we talk about love, like Venus attains exaltation in the Pisces sign, in the original Kalpurush Kundli in the 12th house, which means you do not be and you should not be hesitant even losing out yourself in devotion, in compassion, in love. So they are the ones who have the utmost sincerity, devotion and capacity to sacrifice unconditionally in the matters of love. And trust me friends, even in the path of religion or any sort of bhakti yoga, it's your unconditional love which you can offer and shower to the divine, which matters the most. So because of which, if being a Taurus ascendant, your ascendant lord Venus is going to be present in the 6th house, you are a pure Venusian archetype. The only thing which you need to learn is that in your daily work life, in the daily vicissitudes of the life, how you can nurture, how you can nourish, how you can heal people with your love, how much love you can shower, no matter how much tumultuous and how much difficult the situation is. Trust me friends, when we were talking about the Scorpio ascendant, the Mool mantra which I gave, if the ascendant lord is in the 6th house, is that you have to thrive on the competition. You have to get into the conflict, and that is where you're going to function and flourish better. But in your case, it is completely opposite. In your case, the more you can offer love and nourishment to your daily work life, to your daily challenges, daily competitive situation, the better you can thrive. So now when we talk about a competitive situation, so your drive should not come out with the factors which is going to agitate you or the factors of proving your mettle. Your driving factor should be proving yourself to the people you have loved the most, people who have actually stood with you at the time of your difficult times. Like the way friends, when we talk about the 6th house related energies, 6th house related matters, it is a little bit difficult house. It is a house which actually brings us down by putting lot of hardship, but all of those hardship can actually be handled, can be tackled with the flavors of love as well. So the only one thing which I want to say over here is that no matter how much challenges, how much competitive state, or even if the concerns of health and any of the difficulty is coming in your life, with your happy-go-lucky state, you can handle it. You can even make your enemies or all those people who are your critic fall for you, or you could actually make them fall to your charm only if you will be able to demonstrate a loving demeanor in front of them. So that is the one thing friends which I want to tell for all the Taurus ascendant native. Now friends, coming to the Libra ascendant. So friends, when we talk about the Libra ascendant, so definitely, and your ascendant lord Venus is going to be present in the first house. So that in itself tells about that yes, relationship management is your prime asset. When we talk about thriving and flourishing in the life because of the contacts, because of the savviness in your personality, finesse in your behavior, charm in your personality, you're going to thrive and flourish because of that. But along with that, you should always exude the emotions of love and well-being and care for everyone. And trust me friends, if you are a Libra ascendant person and your ascendant lord Venus is going to be sitting in the 8th house, so in that case friends, as you know that 8th house has a lot to do with the transformation. So transformation are definitely going to be an integral defining part of your life, but you should accept it, embrace it with open arms, because if the planet is strong in the 8th house, the transformation could be for your betterment as well. Even in your case, discipline needs to be inculcated. Along with that, strong values and virtues needs to be inculcated. Because friends, when we talk about the 8th house related matters, there is a lot of passion over there. But because your ascendant lord has gone over there, so with the discipline, with strong virtues and morals, you can also control that energy and make it work in your favor. Like the way friends, the only difference between us humans and the animals is that we have the rules. And like the way I was telling you this thing about at the beginning of this video, that my nature of work and the running around of my life always takes me to the creative field and the creative people. And trust me friends, if you are and if you have this alignment, you are a Libra ascendant and your ascendant lord Venus is strong in the 8th house, your energy, the kind of the charm in your personality is going to be so intense that for me, someone like me who is a psychic, who is a very intuitive person, if I'm sitting in a room and if a person with this alignment has entered the room, I can fairly sense the energy. Now it has nothing to do with attraction. It could be related to the spirituality, it could be related to some platonic connection, and the energies works in a similar fashion for everyone. So this is same for a young beautiful girl and even an old man. So whether it's a 25-year-old girl is entering the room or whether it's a 85-year-old old man is entering the room, the energy which your energy centers are exuding is going to be the same only, is going to be similar only. So the friends, one thing which I want to tell to all the Libra ascendant with their ascendant lord in the 8th house is that develop discipline and inculcate this habit of offering love to whatsoever situation, whatsoever people, circumstances are coming in your life, because that is going to be the pure essence of your planetary archetype. And if you will be able to follow and understand and completely absorb all these principles, so trust me, nothing could come in the way of your success in this life. So that is something friends which I wanted to say as just my vague understanding on this concept. If you want for further more planetary archetypes, some more information which you think which should be included in this playlist, so I will look forward to your suggestions and your inputs in the comment section. So that is something friends which I wanted to share as a part of my inputs for like this concept of planetary archetype, Mars and Venus archetype. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Thank you.